guys can't ever sit here. This is my
Okay, you ready?
spot.
Fine.
It's good if you're good.
All right.
Oh no. Not okay. Now I'm ready. It was in the wheel. It was.
How it was that we proposed to our wives.
Yes, our ladies.
Dom, would you start us off today?
This is gonna be good.
I'm excited.
Yeah, proposals. Do you guys not think everything like in life can be cheesy?
Well,
Like everything?
like, are you saying can everything be cheesy?
It can
or
all be
everything.
cliche. You can make everything
This
cliche
is like-
with enough
sure.
time and effort.
This is almost like beyond cliche. Like something about that word cheesy. I like that word too.
Mm.
That's proposals to me.
Me gusta.
Okay.
And like I
so.
knew my wife deserved
I'm glad you
something
knew your
so
wife.
much more
Then
But-
cheese.
than she actually got with my proposal and me just in general, right? But I'm telling you, okay. I think my wife, Catherine Elaine, okay, man, I think her family, okay, got way more excited for this
Okay.
than even it should have been. They totally almost let the cat out of the bag, right?
Okay.
Which is upsetting me. I'm like, guys, shut up.
Keep it chill.
And they're trying to like make all these jokes like, because I asked Dad. You got to ask Dad. But no, I bought Catherine Elaine a ring.
By
Junior
yourself?
year. No, I brought all my bros.
Okay.
Okay.
There was probably like 5 dudes. Most of them were in my wedding too.
Okay.
We went up to Sioux Falls, South Dakota. It exists. It's
Somewhere
just
out
past
there.
Sioux City, another city, which everybody gets those confused, right? Even if they know just one of them. And I get up Sioux Falls. I buy a ring.
Yep.
It was there's different levels, right, of clarity.
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
diamonds.
Good. And then there's-
perfectly
of
clear.
Very
course,
good.
Yeah.
She deserved the perfectly clear, and it was the very, very good. Okay.
All right.
Too, with a
Not a big
comment
deal.
in between.
And I buy it, and I proceeded to take that ring, and for a year, I would stick it in my pocket.
A year.
Yeah, a year. I was waiting for this to feel absolutely authentic, like
Got it.
something,
Spontaneous.
Oh, okay.
yes, is gonna tell me this is the right moment.
So
So,
it took you a year. Like how many?
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow. How
can't
many
you
dates
give
were
me
you
some-
on?
Yeah.
I mean, I knew
gosh.
she was the one, but it's gotta be right, you know. And
It must have been really right.
so I
Like,
wait till past her. It was Christmas and then her
Okay.
birthday. And everybody, even in the family, is thinking, "Oh, it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen." And I even wait till past then, and I just keep going on these dates, you know, with her, just normal dates. It's in my pocket, and basically, like, I could have lost this thing. It's in my pocket. What if there was a hole?
Naturally.
And I didn't care, you know, I'd have it there. And then, basically, there was a night she asked me to go to dinner, movie. This is normal. This is not like fancy, like nothing crazy.
Yeah.
But you know, it's Iowa, so this is below zero weather. Okay. And we get inside this restaurant, and we're eating there. It was called Bev's on the River. And it was so cheap. We get buy the appetizers, you know, and like we're
Oh, yeah.
sharing. You
Oh,
know,
yeah,
this is how
man.
we always
Yep,
do it.
yep.
Go to the cool place, but then
Yep.
like, yeah.
Still
Anyways,
do that.
and basically, like, she looks at me and she goes, "We have an hour until our movie, and we're done eating. Do you want to go on a walk?" And I'm looking at her and I go, "That's insanity. It's below zero." But instantly I knew, I'm about to marry you.
Okay. Right
All
on.
right.
Right on.
Like, this
Okay.
is awesome. This is the night. Like, nobody does that.
Okay,
No one
perfect.
could ever say I
Perfect.
did it in this way.
Yeah.
So we go on a walk, and I was thinking in my mind too, what's the most cliche thing, you know?
Yeah.
And we even were walking down. There is this bridge in Sioux City. It's lit up and it's all purple and it's all pretty, but the bridge is
Purple.
actually green. I always wondered that. I'm sorry, that's totally random. But they light it with purple lights. Anyways,
Okay.
so
You
it's
know it's
purple
real
at
story.
night.
Like Hulk.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's weird. And I walk up to. We're just walking. We're just like trying to kill time, is what it is.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like the time that shouldn't matter, and that's why I loved it.
yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
It's like the hey, let's kill time.
Yeah.
And you're like, no.
Like, this
Yeah.
is gonna be like the best
So,
part of the whole night.
We're
yeah.
walking by the Missouri River. People die on this river. This is
Oh, that's
this
fun.
is
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
Like if
romantic.
you fall in the
I like
Missouri
it.
River, this current is not forgiving.
Right.
Like you just boom. Like you hear about it all
That's
the
the
time.
exact sound too.
It's still
Yeah.
flowing at
Yeah.
zero
Well,
too.
we've
Or-
never had that confirmed because nobody's back to tell us. But basically, I'm walking. There's ice everywhere. You know, like it looks like Titanic out there in the water. Like
Okay.
it's nuts.
Too soon.
Okay.
man,
Yeah.
Too soon.
And basically, all I do is I walk, and I'm standing there. I'm like, I have no idea what I'm gonna do. I really had nothing planned. And as I'm walking, I just decide this is gonna be hilarious. And I take my hands on the rail. Like there's a straight embankment drop off where they've like packed in the side of the river here.
Uh-huh.
So it's just rock. Okay, and it's ice, and I really did this. I jump over, and I'm holding onto the rail, and it kind of freaked me out too. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this. I could slip. And I looked at her, and she goes, "What are you doing? What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And the cheesy bridge, most people are by the band shell. There's a band shell by it. And they're like, and it is a place where some people do it, right? They, propose at this moment. But I look at her and I go, well, I got to get a better view of the bridge if I'm going to do this. I just pull it out. So I wanted to freak her out.
Yeah.
She's mad at me.
That's
She's
good.
like,
Make
you're
them
an idiot.
angry
Wow.
before proposing.
Yeah.
I know. She's like, what?
I like your approach.
And then I like held it up, and basically like there's me holding onto a rail. I'm really freaked out. There's a river behind me. Death is behind me. I'm
This is
holding on,
great.
and then she's like hugging me over. You
Yeah.
know, she's like, and there's snot, and she's like,
Yeah, and you're thinking to yourself, like, if she says no, she's just going to push me and be like, I'm done with you.
yeah, that was it. I don't even know if she like. It took her a while to say yes because she's like,
Yeah.
It was so beautiful.
Oh wow,
Wow.
dude.
That was it.
That is atypical.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Bravo. I'm glad you put your life on the line
I may take-
before joining your lives together.
Oh, I like that. That was
Exactly.
That's precious.
Yeah.
Exactly. What about you guys?
good. You want to go, Kyle?
Sure.
Yeah.
So mine is much more traditional. So Mackenzie and I had been dating for like 2 years, and then I kind of got into this pattern with dating her. And this is I can't recommend this highly enough. Where if you go on a date with someone that you really know you're going to marry, you never tell them where you're going. We had this frequent pattern where I would just say, "I'll surprise you," and I would tell her what to wear for the occasion.
Okay.
So like shorts and sandals if it was a beach one. Layers for like if we were going ice skating.
Beautiful.
So that when the day eventually came when I wanted to propose and I said, I'm not going to tell you where we're going, that wouldn't stand out as like, oh my gosh, this is when he's proposing. We wanted to make it as much of a surprise as possible.
Yeah.
So I also wanted to figure out a symbol that I could associate with the proposal because I've always heard the wedding is the bride's day, the proposal is the guy's day.
Yeah.
So the idea was I needed to come up with something that whenever in the future we see that thing, it reminds her of that.
Yes.
So I thought, monarch butterflies. California has beautiful monarch butterfly
Yep,
migrations.
you're right.
And I did a lot of research into just where the patterns of their migrations were going. I actually called naturalists. I didn't even know we had people whose job it is to monitor butterfly migrations, but I found it online.
I didn't
I
either.
called them and I was like, all right, so when are they coming through? And they're like, well, it's going to be November. I said, okay, cool.
I like
So
this
I
already.
found a monarch butterfly grove named Elwood Monarch Butterfly Grove. It's like towards Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
And after church one Sunday, basically just invited her out for like a walk through this park. We kind of just were like chilling. And unbeknownst to her, I had been here a couple days earlier with two friends of mine who are photographers to find the perfect spot along this path
Yeah.
that would be like the best photo shoot, basically.
Yes.
So the idea was two buddies of mine from church who lead worship and have amazing singing voices and play guitar and this kind of jazz. They had planted a cajon box, which is one of the few instruments I know how to play, in the middle of this path, just sitting there on the
This
ground.
is good.
And so the idea was we would walk up to this and we'd come across this cajon box in the middle of the woods and go, who on earth would leave such a thing here like this? And then what I would do is I would sit on the cajon box and I would be like, honey, this is like really cool. Check this thing out. And the signal I was going to give was, can I keep it? And that would be the sign basically where my two buddies with their instruments would come out and we would serenade her.
You were
and
a
then
part of the
my
band.
two,
Look at-
and then my two photography friends would come out of the woods and be, doing their photo shoot basically, because you always want pictures of these things.
Oh yeah.
And they didn't hear me. So I multiple times had to go, can I keep it? Are you sure I can't keep it? And she the whole time is like, what are you doing? Like, this belongs to someone else.
Right.
Like, you have to get off that.
Yeah.
So finally they hear me. They emerge. She immediately sees it's happening and is just like,
Yeah.
Oh man, that moment.
immediate tears.
Yeah.
All these random people that are walking through the grove are
Oh
like
my
stopping and taking
gosh,
pictures
yeah.
and this kind of thing. And the song that we sang is this. It's called "My Sweet Honeybee." It has this refrain in the chorus that says, "All I want is you. Will you be my bride?" And so that was the proposal song.
Wow.
So she knew that it was happening in
Oh
the
my
moment.
gosh.
She was just a mess. And then after that, I walked her to the perfect frame
Yeah.
for the picture, and went down on one knee, gave her my spiel. She didn't hear a single word I said other than "Will you marry me?" I later found out, and so
Wow.
that was our proposal.
You're
Wow.
beyond your can I date you?
I mean,
You are so
I'll ask
romantic.
Mackenzie and see if she's all right with it.
Just a couple. I want to experience this
That is
personalized
incredible,
moment.
right? Oh
It
my
was
gosh.
it was very thoughtful. I wanted to make it memorable. So
Yeah.
so this is the funny twist. We saw 2 monarch butterflies that day. They just apparently were late.
Katie and I actually released monarchs at
Did you
our
really?
wedding as we were walking out. So like,
There you
know,
go.
throwing-
See,
Yeah.
symbology. Yeah. So now
Yeah.
whenever you see a monarch, it reminds us of that, and it's
That's
sweet.
awesome, man.
Great call.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Okay, what do we got?
Okay, so I could make this a very long. I think it's a pretty awesome story, but I will be succinct. So I'll start with this. I proposed to my wife when I was a junior in high school, and so was she.
Why?
And so when you know, you know.
Yeah.
Junior and you,
I was, I'm teaching students, and I'm thinking when I was your age, I was literally on one knee.
this is awesome. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, my parents had quite the opinion of that.
I was
later
just
on.
gonna say they're okay. They were okay.
They did not know until I did not. My
Oh.
my
They didn't
dad
know?
did not know until our wedding day.
Oh, that's
I-
fun. At least you
Mm.
didn't like elope without them knowing too.
Well, yeah, no, like that was but
Whoa.
yeah, it's special.
That's cool.
Yeah.
To each his own.
But that's the thing. So obviously, when you're still in high school, like your budget is nothing, and you're like it's just. Again, like we had a long distance relationship for a while. I was up in the Bay Area, she was down south, and so this was during a time when I was visiting her, and it was December. We had gone to Disneyland that day for an event, and I believe it was for Jenny's. She went to a camp for kids with congenital heart disease, or
Sure.
living with a heart disease. And so we were there for that day. It was raining. We were just like soaked and everything. And by the time we left, we were like exhausted. And it's kind of like going with what you were saying, Don. Like I knew like at that moment, like I want to propose to her. Like I want to propose to her. I'm going home the next day.
Yeah.
I know she's the one. I want to propose. So I had to figure out, how am I going to get the dad's blessing, the mom's blessing, all that before I leave. And so I've always pictured in my head the idea of like asking the father to be like this really set up thing, like
Very
go out-
formal.
Yeah.
You bring a resume with you
Essentially,
to establish your
yeah,
credentials.
exactly.
And a goat.
And
The bride price.
and so but he's our ride. Like he's driving us home, and it's like 11 o'clock at night. Jenny
He's
is
your
like,
ride.
yeah, I know.
This is awesome.
I
Okay.
know.
He's your chaperone,
and we're,
future
And we're like in
father-in-law.
a Toyota Previa minivan going home. He stops for gas in the middle of nowhere. Jenny's like passed out on my shoulder, and I have to kind of nudge her off. And she's like, "Why?" And I go, "I need to talk to your dad." Why? And I'm like, I have to talk to him like right now. Like it's like an emergency. And so thankfully she was so exhausted. She was just like so annoyed with me. She's like, "Yeah,
She didn't think
whatever."
anything of it.
No, she
yeah.
didn't. So, poor dad. He's like, just getting gas in the middle of nowhere, and then I come up and I'm like, "Hey, quick question for you. May I have your daughter's hand in marriage? Kind of propose to your
Like
daughter?"
now?
Yeah. He's like, and my dad is one of the most like caring, sweet, sensitive guys you're ever gonna meet, like ever. And
Sure.
so he was just so thrilled. Didn't matter that it was in the gas station in the middle of nowhere. He was like, "Wow, thank you, son, for asking." And
Wow.
and he said, "I'll need to think about it." He didn't. It took like 5 minutes to think about it. And then he said, "Yeah, but the caveat being you need to wait to get married." And I'm like, "Yeah, not till like after college." But I
Okay.
just wanted, just
Okay.
like we'll have a long engagement.
Wow.
that's
Just
fine.
want to put a 6-year installment on this.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I want to take her off the market. And so, get home, quickly get her mother and brother's blessing. But you need a ring. And
Sure.
I had one, but I already gave it to her as a promise ring.
Nice.
And so that's the only ring that I had. And
Ah,
so
you tricked her.
I had to-
You'd already had her.
You know what I'm I had to ask for it back so I could give it to her.
Nice. Awkward.
And I had to
How'd
tell
you work
her.
that?
Oh, it's very simple. When you're in that stupor for that long, like she was so exhausted, I said, "Oh, your ring is broken. I can see it from here. It's broken." And she was like, "It's not broken. What are you talking about?" And I'm like, "No, it's obvious." And so she was so frustrated. She's like, "Here, just take the ring." So then, and she's like, by this time, like in her like jammies, she's like exhausted. Her hair's everywhere. And after I get it, I compose myself and I got on one knee and I said, the reason why I needed this ring back is, and I proposed to her. Her best friend is there and she's like, "Let me get my camera." And she's like, "Shut up, I'm getting proposed to."
And
like,
this is
she's
when cameras were
crying.
actually cameras.
It was like a legit camera.
Not
Like,
a
it was,
phone.
yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I propose and I say, "Will you marry me?" And like she's crying and she gets me up and she
man.
gives me a big hug, but she doesn't say yes. And I'm like, so
about
what's
that.
your answer? Is that a yes? And she goes, "Well, duh." We joke about it how like she never actually said yes.
Yeah.
She
said duh.
Yeah, so I'm like, close enough. And so, yeah, that was a proposal.
Yeah, it still counts.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'll take it.
Impressed.
Wow. And was it
Very
actually
impressed.
6 years?
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
No, thank you.
That's super cool. I mean, if anything, this just demonstrates that, like, if you really want to make it special, you either have to just kind of play it off the
cuff,
fly off the seat of your pants,
Right.
basically, or
Yeah.
almost die in the process.
yeah, or
Basically.
plan ahead. So
Yeah.
there's the spectrum, everyone.
Sure is.
Yeah, it all works.
Yeah.
Yeah, it all works out in the end. All happily married.
There you go.
That's
How
right.
long, how long you guys in?
Dude, we are in for a solid 1, 2, 3. Why are you going to do this to me right now on camera? 4, 5, 6.
Wow.
We're in for 7 years.
7 years. Good man.
Yeah,
Good
it's
man.
a beautiful thing.
12 years.
12 years.
12 years. Yeah.
Dang, Whoa.
Wow, I feel like such a newbie. I'm only 4 years in,
Yeah.
but I still feel like it's honeymooning, man. I tell
There you go. Yeah.
It's
You ready for next
glorious.
year?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Bring it on.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, hey, everyone. This has been today's episode of 10 Talks. Until next time, we'll say once again, we love you guys. We'll see you soon.
Adios.
Take care.